In my skin, there is color. Though it is not a sin, I am at gunpoint. In my skin, I feel proud. There is culture, there are roots, there is torture. The lash of white men on my ancestors' backs, the hypocrisy of what they call a free land, the appropriation of my culture, the humiliation of a race, based in negligence and misery. In my skin, I am alive. I accept my burden. The sempiternal combat, but my faith mustn't darken. I will survive.
Shots. One, two, three. A body is on the ground. What did the poor guy do? Innocent or not, what is it to you? He's gone now. His family's sad. But do you really care? Shots. One, two, three. You ruined them, family, friends, and more. How would you feel? What was the guy's emotions? In grief, troubled, panicked, anxious. But do you really care? Shots. One, two, three. Slavery was a bad punishment. Beatings or even killings. Civil amendments came around, slavery was out. But the beatings and killings haven't stopped. Shots. One, two, three. The gun doesn't have to be the first option. If the gun wasn't in your hands, would you have still killed the kid? When in court, what goes through your mind? Are you enjoying it? Are you suffering for what you have done? All you had to do was stop, think, and then act, but act a civil way. Shots. One, two, three.
I am walking from practice to a friend's house. We were playing video games and enjoying the afternoon. After this, we walked back to my house, but before we took a quick stop at 7-Eleven. While we were in there, we saw two teens that came in running. They were young African American teenagers of age of maybe 15 or 16 years old. They were just playing around and chasing each other like normal teenagers. We heard sirens of police cars outside. They came in and asked the guys why they were running so fast from the store that they had came out of. The guys tried to explain, but after they tried to, the officers told them to turn around and put their hands behind their backs. The teens asked why. They told them they hadn't done anything wrong. The officers told them to not argue and to do what they were told, but the guys insisted. The officers grabbed them and threw them to the ground and handcuffed them. I was just shocked on how the officers just threw them on the ground and handcuffed them. They didn't even let them explain. I realized that officers don't do their job right. They think just because two colored skin boys ran out of a store and into another doesn't mean they are doing something wrong. They can't just handcuff someone without letting them explain. Since that day, I realized how racist a police officer can be.
Missed call. I am walking on the street, root of worry, for I am just on my way to school. There is a white cat coming from my neighbor Allie's house. There is Mrs. Rudy watering her plants as she does every morning, waving hello and wishing me a good day. Mr. Allen over at the liquor store I go to every afternoon for a soda and a bag of chips. I know every person, pet, crook, and cranny in this neighborhood. I was born here. I was raised so. I have lived here my whole life, safe and secure, because I know the love for this neighborhood and the love it has for me. So, I am rid of worry, walking on my way to school on a sunny Tuesday morning. The road seems clear just like every time I walk to school at this hour of the morning. Only a few kids going to school just like me up front. In my peripheral view, I see a police car. How odd, I think, for police to be patrolling here. Usually it is a quiet rural neighborhood, so we don't see many cops. He drives slower, as if meaning to approach me, so I stop and say, "Hello, officer." He responds with, "Where are you going?" I am not used to blunt hostility when I speak to someone for the first time, so I make a confused face and answer. "To school, sir," he says. "How come so early? Let me see a school ID." At this moment, I am pulling out my ID from my wallet, but my phone also starts buzzing, so I attempt to fish it out of my pocket as well. My hand is halfway out my jeans pocket when I hear the officer shout. He is altered and fumbling for something when I feel a sharp pain in my stomach and then another one on my chest. There is blood. I fall to the ground and realize I have been shot. How? Is this really happening? I can't feel my body, but I try to shout for help. Instead of words, there is gargling. I am silently panicking, hoping, praying that someone will help me. I see the officer hovering over me and I don't know what to think. He attempts to handcuff me, but because I am unable to move, he has to pull up my body and in doing so breaks my wrist. I feel another wave of sharp pain and drop back down to the concrete. What have I done? I am going to miss the chemistry test. My history research paper is due today. We were going to my niece's birthday after school. I'm sorry. Forgive me for not answering your call.